a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Katie Russo from Michigan Works. Good morning, Katie.
Morning.
And Katie, you have a brand new position at Michigan Works. You're a success coach. So tell me about that program.
It's a brand new program that Michigan Works rolled out. I joined the team in November of this year. So my job as a success coach is to go into local businesses and help their employees if they're facing any barriers, anywhere from housing to transportation, or even if it's just small issues that may be preventing them from being productive at work.
Okay, and I know that every business, small or large, has those kind of issues that come up, and so an employee's car breaks down, they can't come to work. They're having trouble getting good daycare, so they're not coming to work. So it really affects the productivity of that business.
Absolutely.
And so give me an idea of some of how you would help solve those problems or how the program works.
Sure. So the past few months I've been working with local resources, community partners, kind of getting an idea of what everyone offers, so that way I can go to the employees and, if they come with an issue to me, then I'm able to provide them a service.
Okay, so this is a fee-based business, so you would talk to that person and you would tell them about the fee, and then you would actually be on site in their business?
Yeah, so how it works is 4 hours every week. The success coach is on site right there at the business or location. And then we are in a confidential location. That way the employee can come to us and speak to us confidentially. That way no one needs to know what's going on.
And a lot of businesses have employee assistance programs, but this is something that they could do in conjunction with that.
Yes, it's very similar. We're not trying to take over HR, but more be a helping hand to them.
Okay, so you listed a couple of things that maybe would cause an employee to have problems at work. Give me some other examples.
There's, helping veterans. I mentioned transportation, housing. I'm MyBridges certified, so help with any, assistance programs,
Okay.
I guess.
Like cash assistance,
Right.
and food stamps,
So
and those kind of things.
Employers or employees that need help applying for those sort of programs.
Okay, so you'd actually go into the business 4 hours a week, and when there's an employee that has difficulties, obviously maybe it's not going to happen right while you're there, but they set up those appointments, the person comes to you and you say, okay, you're having issues with daycare, here's some ideas and here's some suggestions, there's some things we can do to help alleviate the daycare. Okay, you have an employee whose car broke down, here's some programs that we can help him get his car repaired and get him back on the road again so that he shows up on time for work.
Exactly. And then we follow up with the situation as well. I'm available on my cell phone too, so if something happens out of the business hours, it's not that the employee needs to feel like they can't contact you. They can always reach out anytime.
Okay, and what about someone who is maybe having some mental health issues or substance abuse issues?
Those are absolutely issues that we can address as well. There's a lot of different areas and programs that are available within the community that we can help out with too.
And this service is available to small employers and large employers?
There's no number or limit to the amount of employees that we can work with.
And are you only covering Alpena County with this program, Katie?
We're exploring Alpena, Alcona, and surrounding areas right now.
Okay, so someone has some questions about the success coach, having their own success coach in their business. How do they contact you?
Through Michigan Works, you can just contact the office directly, or I have an email and cell phone as well.
Okay, and I know you're really easy to find when you go to Michigan Works.
Yep.
All right, so next we're going to go to job fairs. This is the time of year, in the spring of the year, we do a lot of job fairs. Give me some dates for job fairs.
So Alpena Job Fair is April 7th. The job fair prep is April 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
And then Alcona's is actually April 21st. And then there's a job fair prep held in Lincoln on the 15th.
And you mentioned the job fair prep, and those are really important because sometimes people, if they're applying for the first job or if they haven't applied for a job in a while, those prep classes are really good. They take a look at your resume and see if it's up to snuff. They kind of go through some interview questions that you may be asked. They make sure that you know how to dress appropriately for an interview and give you some tips on how to kind of boost yourself to the top of that pile.
Yep.
And the career fairs themselves are really wonderful. I know Alpena will be held at Alpena Community College.
Yes.
And there's always at least 50 vendors.
Yep, I
And
think
you
we're
come
looking
in-
at around 60 this year. So.
Woohoo! So if you come in with your resume all ready to go, you can go to each individual employer, and they actually take time to talk to you, and then you can take the application back in most cases and fill them out and then return them. And that gives you a chance to meet that person that actually does the hiring.
Yeah, get your face out there, your name.
Right.
Yep.
And a lot of times when you walk into a business and you say, I'm looking for a job and I understand you're hiring, and you drop off a resume, you don't know if that hiring person gets that resume or not. But what I love about the job fairs and the career fairs is you're actually handing that resume off to a person who's going to be hiring.
Exactly.
And it's just a myriad of employers that come from every different business. There's something for everyone there. So if you're looking for full-time, part-time, whatever you're looking for, go on the Michigan Works website, and those dates are posted. You can go into any Michigan Works office and they can tell you when they are.
Yes.
And we have about 2 minutes left, so we have time to talk about My Career Quest. What's the date of that?
The date of My Career Quest is May 21st. We're looking at over 2,000 students, so we're really excited about that happening.
And I do have to say, I was a volunteer there last year and attended it, and I thought, how's this going to work? And it was absolutely phenomenal. There were thousands of students that came, many, many different businesses, from manufacturing to healthcare to robotics to, DNR to state police to county sheriff. Every business was at the site in Onaway, and students could go and individually talk to every one of those businesses and get an idea of a career that maybe was good or bad or right for them. And a lot of them have really fun things, like the healthcare. You could actually do CPR, you could actually fix a wound. And I know a robot followed me all through the building for a while, so you can actually build robots. And the tooling businesses and the manufacturers, you actually can weld and do all kinds of hand-on skills. And we invite the public, and we're looking for more businesses too to yet come.
Yeah, anybody that has an interactive, exhibit that they'd like to share, we're definitely interested in more employers.
And I would please encourage them to come. And I know a lot of kids got some really good ideas last year about their career quest and what they want to be when they grow up.
Yep.
Well, Katie, we're out of time. I want to thank you so much for being here. And once again, if someone's interested in finding out about being a success coach at their own business, their own success coach, stop at Michigan Works or give Michigan Works a call.
Yes. Thank you, Nancy.
I'll be right back with some information from Besser Museum following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Amanda Kacharik from Besser Museum. Hi, Amanda. Hi. So I understand it's the 50th anniversary of the first Earth Day.
Yes, so that is coming up here in April. So here we are in March. We've got a little bit of time left to plan before that, but we are going to be hosting an Earth Day celebration, working with the library's connection with NASA My Library, hosting at the Besser Museum. So that will take place on April 4th. So not Earth Day, but during the month of Earth Day, we will be celebrating April 4th.
Okay, and knowing you and knowing the library, there's lots of things going on.
Yes, definitely. So we are able to offer planetarium shows as we usually do. We have a lot of really great programming. One of our favorite shows, Habitat Earth, is an awesome show to see for Earth Day. Our planetarium coordinator, Jonathan, he's very knowledgeable about Earth and space science, so he'd be glad to tell you everything about our place in the universe while we're there. So that's always exciting. We also received a number of STEAM kits about exploring Earth and space science. So we were able to do that through a grant that Jonathan kind of headed up for us. And so we have a lot of really fun activities, and some of those are going to involve little crafts that you can do as a family, activities that you can do, and some of those will even be able to pull in some of our area partners who work with the Earth.
Now, will the kits be available only on the Earth Day celebration, or when will we be doing the kits?
So we'll be doing those on the Earth Day celebration, and so we have lots of different types of programs. So like I said, we're working with NASA My Library, so our contact person, Tina, at the library, she'll be offering a couple of different activities through those materials that she gets. So we'll be able to do some cloud watching, learn a little bit more about that. I'll be planting some plants. I believe we've got a connection with 4-H who might be able to help us with that. We also have a nature trail at the museum. I don't know if you've been out that way in a little bit. And so the nature trail's been there for a little while, but we have somebody in our community who's very knowledgeable about the trees and plants out there. So we'll be able to have somebody walk you through that trail and
Wonderful.
learn a little bit about our nature here. So lots of different things like that that we'll be able to do, as well as learning a little bit about how the earth and the moon interact with each other as well.
Well, when you think about Earth Day, you know, it started out as like an ecology kind of
Yeah.
a movement kind of thing, and what it's gone to now with the Earth and the science and the planetarium and all the things. It's pretty exciting, and a lot of people do, you know, special events on that day or make it a commitment. I'm going to recycle, or I'm
Yes.
going to reduce my carbon emissions, or I'm going to, and I really hope that awareness events like this do make those things happen and continue throughout the year, not just on Earth Day.
Right. And we are working together right now. We want to develop a passport program so that when you come to the event, when you're celebrating that day, you can go out into the community and visit a couple places where you maybe can use a recyclable grocery bag, or you know, you can buy some earth-friendly products, things like that, that you can go out as a family and see how you can actually give back to the earth within our community here. Do some of those environmental items on your list.
That's a great idea, and it's always wonderful when you partner with other agencies and companies and things in our community, because their resources and your resources make for a
Yes.
lot more to give to our community.
Right, and that I think is a big part of Earth Day as well, is really celebrating the community. And that's what we want to do at the museum also, is to celebrate that connection with the community. And so it's nice that we can be sort of a hub for that. And so I do want to also say, so this is going to be on April 4th.
And the time,
The
yes.
time, yes. So it is from 1 to 4 p.m. So there's 3 hours where you can come and do those activities. It is free, so you
Okay.
can come in with your family and enjoy these
Woohoo.
activities for free. So we're excited that we're able to offer that, and it's really great that we have so much community support in doing these types of offerings.
Okay, so other than Earth Day, I know there's lots of other things that go on at the museum.
Yes, there are, and so we're really excited. We're getting into our school season. We've had a couple of visits come so far, even in February yet. We had a
Yay.
couple of visits. We get very busy in May, a little bit in April too, but leading up to the end of the school year. And we even have some really little learners coming by. So this week we had some preschoolers come to visit. And so they're getting their first taste of what it's like to visit a museum. So we're always looking for ways that we can improve our programming for our little learners. We're very excited to be able to offer that.
And what displays are up right now for us to see?
Right, so we have a lot going on. We have a lot of art that you can see, lots of old standards and favorites, but right now you can actually come see. We have a Dale Chihuly glass piece. Right, when you first walk in, you'll not miss it. It's great. So we have that piece. We have Ritzler's paper cut drawings, and so we have, we call them kaleidoscopes. They look sort of like a paper snowflake done on black paper, but they're done in a style to represent some of the old buildings in Alpena.
Wow.
So really, you know, spectacular. And they're shown with the buildings that they were based off of. So it's also sort of like going on a little tour of old Alpena
Yeah.
itself. So those are going to be up as well. We have Kluel metal pottery, so really interesting pottery. It's kind of a combination, like an electro-coating on the pottery. So if it's something that you've never seen before, really neat.
Okay.
Noelle Skiba's artwork is still up. Really impressive
Oh,
being able to
yes.
see all of those pieces. And a lot of people who walk in think that it's many different artists, but it's all her work.
And
she's got lots
a
of
lot of the
styles.
works are for sale.
Yes, so if you're interested in any of that, we have a lot of her prints available up near our gift shop as well.
Okay.
Would make a great gift. We also have our Winter Blues exhibit is open. So a lot of really fun pieces that are there. The Winter Blues takes people from the community. It's non-juried, and so that means that anybody can enter. So that's a really great way to engage with people
Yes.
in your neighborhood. You might never know. And then our favorites, we have our Native American Gallery as always. We also have our Avenue of Shops. That's one of my favorite places. And then the natural wildlife displays downstairs. If you've never come in to see the pendulum, that's a big favorite
Yes.
too. I know all of those kids love the pendulum so much.
And you're always looking for volunteers.
We are, yes. So there's lots of different ways that you can get involved in the museum. So you can get involved to assist with many of our openings when we do art shows, when we do receptions. A good way to be a part of that is to join our Founders Society. And so the Founders Society, they're kind of our friends of the museum. And so they do a lot of that behind the scene work for those receptions. So if you're interested in something like that, glad to have you there. If you have maybe some education background, I always am looking for people who would, want to help with the school groups, who just would have an interest in, being a leader. That's always helpful too. And really anybody who has an interest in, history of Alpena is a nice connection to have. We love meeting new friends.
I bet you do. Well, I want to thank you very much for being here. Tell everyone at the museum thank you so much for the collaborations and all the wonderful things. And Earth Day again is April 4th.
Right, so our Earth Day event will be taking place April 4th, and it will be from 1 to 4 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Sean Sexton, ACC faculty and faculty advisor of the ACC Takes Pride LGBTQ student group. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, we thank you for coming out on a snowy morning.
Oh, no problem.
We had a remarkable event last night at Grantham Theater. I would have to say, not to hype, but in 30 years at the college, I don't think I've ever seen such a genuine outpouring of authentic human feeling. Can you describe it?
Well, it's again, not to brag, but it was inspirational, and it probably really exceeded our expectations. Again, our original goal was to just have a program that included education and outreach and inspiration, and to sit and listen to the members of the panel. I mean, we had a 15-year-old, another 15-year-old, another high school kid, a couple college students, and a gentleman our age, just to share their stories. And it's hard to talk about yourself. It's hard to sit here and talk to you, and but to put yourself out there as a member of a fringe community, and to really just bare your soul in front of basically a group of strangers.
True. It was amazing. So let's take a step back. The ACC Takes Pride group, how did it form, and what is it?
Well, I'm really proud that it was a student-initiated group. There were 3 students who got together and really had that vision and just came to me because they needed an advisor. And I think groups that are driven by student population, have more success, and they have more passion, and they have a better work ethic. And so I really just felt lucky to be included in it. But their mission was to create a community on campus, so at least college students would understand, hey, there is a place for you here. And whether you're, however you identify in the LGBTQ plus community, that you have a home, and that there is a safe place on campus. So that was originally kind of what they were thinking, but they wanted to also have an outreach part of our organization. So they have worked a little bit with the Straight Gay Alliance at the high school. So a lot of the event last night, we got a lot of help from those guys. We were active in the community with the 4th of July parade and some STD testing at the college. So they really wanted to be more than a social organization. They wanted to provide outreach and really provide inspiration and educate the community about the issues that LGBTQ community members face.
Yes, and they did an amazing job of it. You referenced the involvement of the high school. Principal Berryman was there and did a very nice job describing what they're doing, which sounds sensitive and proactive. At the K-12 level, he showed some stats on one of his slides about the challenges, the bullying, the high rates of suicide among young people who are LGBTQ+, and that was powerful. So, but to me, the most powerful thing was hearing the voice of these folks that are in that community and what they had to say. How about what was your main takeaway?
Well, it's, I would tend to agree with that. It's the bravery that people have. And in my generation, not that many people came out. And if they did come out, they didn't come out as transgender. They didn't come out as in any of the number of identifications we have now. So really the couple folks up there, the 15-year-olds, probably impressed me the most. And not just because they were 15 and and speaking in front of people. But the stories that they had and what they've had to go through, and to be able to share that, and then just hear really the pride in their voices that I'm happy with myself now. You know, I've made these changes and I've come out and I've had some trials and tribulations, but I'm in a better place. And it takes a lot of courage to come out and share your story, and I just think it's tougher when you're 15, 16, 17.
Oh my goodness, the courage that it took for those young people to sit on the stage before 100, probably 100 plus in the crowd, some family, some strangers, many strangers, and describe their process for learning who they are, and revealing that to family and friends, and sometimes the consequences, pro and con of that process. It was I can't hardly find words for it. Beautiful.
And I think one important takeaway is some of them had issues with some members of their family, but if you really listened, I think each of them, really held on to, hey, my mom had my back, or my dad supported me, or the one young man, hey, my sister and my aunt, have always been there for me. It doesn't take a lot. Yeah, and this one message we tried to get across last night, to just support people and advocate. You don't have to understand, you don't have to rally and be a champion. Just be there for them and tell them it's okay, and you support them. But you really could kind of hear that through all those voices, that when they talked about some negative experiences, but they all really kind of came back to, hey, I got through this because of my dad or my sister or my friend or my classmates. So it was really nice to hear that you can have an impact and really be supportive without being totally educated about all the issues. You just love people and be there for them, and it does make a difference. Yeah,
and that was a common theme, and it was good that it kind of rose to a conscious level for the people in the crowd. It was a very important message. A takeaway for me that kind of was corollary to that was, I think each of the panel members said that this sort of forum where they have the opportunity to speak authentically and people learn and listen and hear what they have to say is really the way forward on a lot of these issues. I found that very inspirational.
Well, and absolutely, and I think there'll be more forums like that to come. Last summer, I think Art in the Loft and Thunder Bay Theater sponsored one, and it was very similar, and that people were very receptive, and I think walked away with a better understanding. Once you understand people on a human level and you hear their story, it's hard to be a hater at that point.
It is.
And so I think these forums and people getting their message out and their story is just, it makes it better for everybody, no matter how you associate with yourself. But so it's certainly valuable to have that interchange back and forth.
Great message, very true. And thank you for your work with the group, and commend the group for their courage. And thank you. And thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, that's a quick.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.